My name is Emma Carter, and for 9 summers of my childhood, my parents packed my suitcase every June and left me with my aunt while they took my older brother on family vacations across the country. They always told me the same thing before driving away: strong kids do not make a fuss. I believed them because I was only 8 years old. My brother had survived leukemia when we were little, and I understood that he deserved love and attention. What I did not understand was why his recovery meant I no longer belonged in family memories. The vacations began after he was healthy again, yet every year I watched them leave while I stayed behind. They mailed me cheerful postcards from Disney World, Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon, and beaches I had never seen. Every card ended with the same sentence: "Wish you were here?" They never wrote that they missed me or promised I would join them next time. At school, I wrote essays about spending summers with my aunt while my mother proudly displayed pictures of my brother enjoying jet skis and amusement parks. Eventually, I stopped asking to go because I realized the answer had already been decided before I ever spoke. One night, I discovered my blue suitcase waiting by the front door before I had even pleaded my case. That was the moment I understood I had never been part of the plan. The only bright part of those summers was my Aunt Grace. She owned a small bakery near a peaceful lake and treated me like I mattered. She taught me how to bake pies, work with customers, and make decisions that actually counted. For the first time, someone asked what I wanted instead of telling me what I needed to accept. Years later, I learned she had once offered to raise me during the school year, but my mother refused because people might ask uncomfortable questions if I permanently lived with my aunt. Keeping appearances mattered more than giving me a real home. By the time I was 14, I secretly planned my escape. I worked every job I could find, saved every dollar, and researched towns where I could disappear after graduation. On the morning of my high school graduation, my parents left early to attend another event for my brother. I walked across the stage and looked at 2 empty chairs. In that moment, I knew I owed no one an explanation. Before dawn the next morning, I packed my car, left a short note saying I was safe and not to look for me, and drove nearly 2,000 miles to northern Idaho. I found work washing dishes in a lakeside cafe and slowly built a new life. My boss recognized my baking skills, and soon I became the cafe baker. Every year, I mailed my aunt a single anonymous postcard with a small pie drawn on the back so she would know I was alive without revealing where I lived. 4 years passed before my parents finally found me after a local magazine published an article about my baking. They walked into my cafe expecting to bring me home. Instead of apologizing, my mother admired everything I had built and immediately explained why I needed to return. My father had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, my brother was too busy with his own family, and since I had always been the strong one, it was now my responsibility to care for my father. I calmly refused. I had not spent 4 years rebuilding my life just to return to the role they had assigned me as a child. Later, my brother called me and confessed he had believed our parents when they claimed I loved being sent away every summer. For the first time, he understood what those vacations had really meant. My aunt then revealed the truth about the offer she had made years earlier to raise me. Hearing that confirmed something I had avoided admitting my entire life. My childhood had never been an accident. It had been a decision. At Thanksgiving, my mother announced to the entire family that I was moving home to care for my father before she had even asked me. The room applauded, assuming I had already agreed. Instead, I stood and quietly explained that I had already hired professional home care for my father and would personally pay for it, even though it meant sacrificing my dream of buying the cafe. I would visit, call every week, and support him, but I would never again allow my life to be volunteered without my permission. When my mother accused me of abandoning the family, I reminded everyone that for 9 summers, they had given me nothing but a suitcase. The room fell silent. Then my mother unexpectedly admitted that she herself had been forced to become the strong child in her own family when she was young. She had repeated the same pattern because nobody had ever asked what she wanted either. I told her that was exactly why the cycle had to end with me. A year later, I became the owner of the cafe. My father and I slowly rebuilt our relationship through weekly phone calls. My brother visited with his daughter, who happily nicknamed me Aunt Pie after tasting my baking. The old blue suitcase now holds holiday tablecloths instead of memories of abandonment. Looking back, I finally understand that family is not defined by blood or shared vacations. Family is made up of the people who never make you feel like the one left behind.